Sparkle's here. Sparkle's the clown. All right, number 3 in the Money Satchel series. This email, folks, comes to me. It says here the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Free lunch, and it evidently comes from California. So let me read on. Remember, I'm just passing on the message here, although I agree with the message quite vehemently. Free lunch. 900 teachers just got laid off from the Los Angeles Unified School District. They are $650,000 over their annual budget. The following English teacher helps to explain one area that looms large over California's educational crisis. This has got to be passed along to as many as possible, or we will all go down the drain before a few don't care. This English teacher has phrased it the best I've seen yet. This should make everyone think, be you Democrat, Republican, or Independent, from a California school teacher. As you listen to the news about the student protests over illegal immigration, there are some things you should be aware of. I am in charge of the English as a second language department at a large school, Southern California high school, which is designated a Title I school, meaning that its students average lower socioeconomic and income levels. Most of the schools you're hearing about, Southgate High, Bell Gardens, Huntington Park, etc., where these students are protesting, are also Title I schools. These Title I schools are on a free breakfast, free lunch program. When I say free breakfast, I'm not talking a glass of milk and a roll, but a full breakfast and cereal bar and fruits and juices that would make a Marriott proud. The waste of this food is monumental, with trays and trays of it being dumped into the trash uneaten. Our tax dollars at work, of course. I estimate that well over 50% of these students are obese or at least moderately overweight. About 75% or more do have cell phones, and the schools also provide daycare centers for the unwed teenage pregnant girls, some as young as 13, so they can attend class without inconveniencing or having to arrange for babysitters or having family watch their kids. Our tax dollars at work again. I was ordered to spend $700,000 on my department or risk losing funding for the upcoming year, even though there was little need for anything. My budget was already substantial. I ended up buying more computers for the Computer Learning Center, half of which 1 month later have been carved with graffiti by the appreciative students who obviously feel humbled and grateful to have free education in America. Our tax dollars at work again. I have had to intervene several times for young and substitute teachers whose classes consist of many illegal immigrant students here in the country less than 3 months, who raised so much hell with the female teachers, calling them putas, which means whores, and throwing things at the teachers were in tears. Free medical, free education, free food, daycare, etc., etc., etc. Is it any wonder they feel entitled not only to be in this country, but to demand rights, privileges, and entitlements? To those who want to point out how much these illegal immigrants contribute to our society, because they like their gardener and housekeeper and they like to pay less for tomatoes, spend some time in the real world of illegal immigration and see the true costs. Higher insurance, medical facilities closing, higher medical costs, more crime, lower standards of education in our schools, overcrowding, new diseases, etc., etc., etc. For me, I'll pay more for tomatoes. Americans, we need to wake up. The guest worker program will be a disaster because we won't have the guts to enforce it. Does anyone in their right mind really think they will voluntarily leave and return? It does, however, have everything to do with culture. A third world culture that does not value education, that accepts children getting pregnant and dropping out of school by 15, and that refuses to assimilate. And an American culture that has become so weak and worried about political correctness that we don't have the will to do anything about it. If this makes your blood boil, as it did mine, forward this to everyone you know, including your congressmen and your senators. Cheap labor isn't what the whole immigration issue is about. Business doesn't want to pay a decent wage. Consumers don't want everything expensive. Government will tell you Americans don't want the jobs, but the bottom line is cheap labor. The phrase cheap labor is a myth, a farce, and a lie. There is no such thing as cheap labor. Take, for example, an illegal alien with a wife and 5 children takes a job for $5 or $6 an hour. At that wage with 6 dependents, he pays no income tax. At the end of the year, if he files an income return, he gets an earned income credit of about $3,200 free. If he qualifies for Section 8 and subsidized rent, food stamps, free no deductible health care with no copay, his children get free breakfast and lunches at school. He requires bilingual teachers and books, qualifies for relief from high energy bills, and if you become age blind or disabled, they qualify for SSI. Once qualified for SSI, you qualify for Medicare. All of this at our taxpayers' expense. He doesn't worry about car insurance, life insurance, or homeowners insurance. Taxpayers provide Spanish language signs, bulletins, and printed materials. He and his family receive the equivalent of $20 to $30 an hour in benefits. Working Americans are lucky to have $5 to $6 an hour left after paying their bills, and American taxpayer also pay for increased crime, graffiti, and trash cleanup. Cheap labor, yeah right. Wake up, people. These are the questions we should be addressing to the presidential candidates for either party, and when they lie to us and don't do as they say, we should replace them at once. And that's a long rant, but she wrote it and I quoted it. That's all I got to say.